Right, chapter 11. What will happen next? Will we have another journey to Kuwait? Or will we get to recap some of Saf's friendship issues? The house is quieter today, like a forest after rainfall. I walk up to the glass table, just as I did last time, but the bracelet is no longer there. Instead, it's dangling from my wrist after I put it on in Mum's flat. Oh, she's back in the dream, straight away. It makes me feel closer to her somehow, and braver too. Like the bracelet is my armour, and I'm ready to go into battle. A familiar smell draws me to the kitchen. I walk across the marble-floored foyer, bypassing the stairs, and enter another leafy tunnel. I know this house is Mum's childhood home, but it feels different. More like it's a living creature rather than just a house. So it's getting a life. It's got human qualities, not just because of the author's given it to us. It's got human qualities for Saf. The heartbeat follows me as I walk, drumming to my steps. When I enter the kitchen, I'm met with the biggest feast I've seen in my life. I recognise some of it from dishes Mum's cooked before. Stuffed vine leaves, za'atar bread and cheese, stacks of sugar sweets and honeysuckle melon, and lots of tea. I peer around to see if I can find the person who made all this food. But no one is there, and I hear nothing but the pulse of the house and the thump, thump, thumping in my chest. I sit down, reach for a stuffed vine leaf and take a bite. It's delicious, so she can interact with objects but can't be seen or heard. I take another and pour myself a helping of tea too. I bite into a sugar sweet when I'm done, the syrup dripping down my chin. I catch it with my thumb and lick off my fingers in delight. A few minutes, maybe more, pass until I'm interrupted by a very determined meow. I jump and my cup of tea clatters to the floor. But when I look back, it's on the table again, where I first found it. Sitting in front of me, its tail wagging impatiently, is a cat with yellow eyes. I stand up and walk towards it. As soon as I take my first step, it launches itself at the back door, which stands open, and walks a few paces into the courtyard beyond. Then it sits, looking at me determinedly again. And it glows a little brighter than everything else, the way the bracelet did. I think I'm supposed to follow it. The cat is a grey tabby. Bits of its fur are missing in places, and there's a scar in its left ear. It looks like a stray, but the most remarkable thing about the cat is the white heart-shaped line of fur that starts in the middle of its back and winds down towards its tail. As we make our way along the courtyard, I notice the house is crumbling in places it wasn't before. That's intriguing. Have we skipped forward in time, or has something happened? One of the windows has no glass in it anymore, and I can see the staircase peeking through a great big gouge in the wall. A gouge is a hole, but it's as if something's taken a lump out of it. I have to dodge pieces of rubble the way I do in Fairy Hunters whenever I approach the ruined palace. Curious. I'm back at the swings now, the ones Aminah sat on the day she was crying. That's when I realise this must be one of the cats that landed on her head. I didn't see them properly last time, but I know there were two of them. Where's your friend, I ask. The cat doesn't answer. Just like Lady, I mutter. The cat meows up onto the courtyard wall, looks at me, and meows again. This time I know it wants me to follow because the slide is standing there in the same spot as before. I rest my hand on one of the silver branches as I climb and notice a flower has bloomed where Aminah stood. It's bright yellow with a little cupped section in the middle and 5 long petals closing round it protectively. As soon as my feet hit the sandy ground on the other side of the wall, I hear a voice. What are you, some sort of assassin? I didn't hear you at all. The girl from beyond the wall is staring at me now. I soon realise it's not me she's looking at, but Aminah, who is standing right next to me. Aminah laughs. Maybe, she snorts. I was beginning to think I'd imagined you. The girl looks at her quizzically. From the other day, Aminah continues. She seems a little embarrassed. I called out to you as you were climbing back over. She lets her words fizzle out, so it hasn't moved forward. I'm curious about the state of the house. The girl's eyes widen. It was you. I've been avoiding this place because I thought some stupid little kid started playing here. The pair settle beneath a tree and I join them. From down here, the wall that leads back to Aminah's house looks giant, like a skyscraper, and the trees just as tall. I can no longer see either end of it. Instead, I'm surrounded by a canopy of leaves and sand, like being marooned on some sort of desert island. Everything here is strange, ever-changing. Before Aminah and the girl appeared, it was just a plain old wall with some sand on the ground. Now it's like a secret garden. Suddenly I feel so tiny, in a big, big world, the way I always do when I play fairy hunters. 1 minute you're casting spells against a wizard, the next you're hit with a shrink potion and you're the size of a mouse. And all of a sudden, your perspective shifts. The cat I had followed sits a few metres away next to a smaller cat that looks identical. But even they're different here, bigger, wilder. Aminah scowls. I'm not a child. It was probably my sister you heard. So what's your speciality, the girl asks, changing the subject at lightning speed. Aminah frowns. What? You know, if you're an assassin. The sun's almost gone now, and the girls pull a torch from her backpack, setting it out between us all. It lights up the circle like a magic orb, but everything surrounding us is coated in inky darkness, apart from the two pairs of feline eyes that stare straight from the bushes. Oh yes, right, Aminah says, biting her lip, as if in contemplation. Mine's a bow and arrow, the girl says, answering her own question. That way I can watch my victims from a distance. Remind me never to come back here before you do, so you can't ambush me. Who says you're allowed back? This girl is mysterious. I feel like she's not a casual character. This is an important character. I'm so curious here. Aminah raises her eyebrows. It's behind my house, isn't it? Mine too, the girl says dismissively, pointing at her own home. You can just about see the top of the roof from here. It looks like a castle turret. And anyway, I found it first. What is this place? Aminah looks around in wonder the way I had moments before. A secret, the girl says simply. Then she adds with a smile, I'll let you back if you pass the test. Aminah sits up straighter. I'm good at tests, she says a little smugly. I laugh. Mum's ridiculously clever. I keep forgetting this is her mum. Aminah's becoming her own character. The girl rolls her eyes. Not that kind of test. She nods back at the cats. If you can pet one of them, you can come back. And if I don't, then this was all a dream. The girl whispers spookily, holding the torch up to her face. Aminah gulps. Fine, she finally says. I'll do it. Aminah stands up, her shoes noisily grazing against the ground. Immediately, one pair of eyes disappears as the first cat bolts. The girl lets out a low murmur. Not a good start, she teases, the smile evident in her voice. Pass me the torch, Aminah says, gritting her teeth. She holds it under her arm, takes her shoes off one at a time, and creeps silently across the sand. I follow her, careful to be quiet too. The second cat, the smaller of the two, is much braver. It's poised, ready to run, but it looks curious too, eyes locked on Aminah as she inches closer and closer. She's now less than a metre away, and the cat takes a couple of steps back. Aminah changes tack. She sits down as soon as she does, the cat stops, watching her. What are you doing? The girl calls. Shh, Aminah says. But the noises scare the cat even more, and it bolts into the leaves after its mother. You lose, the girl says coolly. My heart sinks. I wanted her to win. But Aminah's not given up yet. She ignores the girl and focuses instead on her task. She watches the cats peer out at her from the bushes. She takes the torch and shines it just in front of where the cats are sitting. She darts the light left to right. A minute passes. 2. Nothing. then a tiny paw. Both of the cats jump out of the bush to chase the light. Aminah holds the torch over her head and directs it closer and closer to her until the cats are playing less than a metre away. She clicks her tongue. Both cats look up at her, alarmed, as if surprised to see her there. Then Aminah puts her left hand out, palm up, beneath the cats' mouths. They sniff, and she takes her chance. She strokes the smaller cat, the braver one, first. It pulls back a little until it realises she isn't going to hurt it. And then, rather abruptly, it leans into her, purring. The second cat lets her pet it once, before retreating back into the bushes. Aminah turns and points the torch at the girl. "I win," she says triumphantly. She settles back into her old spot and puts her shoes back on. "I was kind of joking, you know," the girl admits. "Even I've never been near those cats. I've decided what your speciality is, by the way." "What?" "Cat herder." Aminah laughs. "That can be my nickname, but my real name is Aminah." "Mine's Rawan," the girl smiles. "Meet at the same time tomorrow, okay?" Aminah nods. "And next time, bring snacks," Rawan orders as she climbs over the wall and heads back home. As soon as she's gone, the night falls silent and the inky darkness covers me and Aminah like a blanket. More deep, textured information. I mean, the character we're learning about Aminah, the mum, is so essential in understanding that relationship. There's such a warmth there, such a kindness, such a vulnerability. I'm absolutely loving this. I have some key questions. What is the importance of Rawan? Is she going to appear later in life? Is she a good friend of Mum's? Why is the house now seemingly in a little bit of disrepair? She didn't notice it yesterday. Is that because it was new? Is something happening to cause the house to be in disrepair? I'll put these questions in the comments below and have a really good think. This is it for this week. We can pick up from chapter 12 next week in reading group, but I'm super impressed. Well done, guys, and let's keep up the good learning. So I'll read with you next week, but make sure you're catching up on all your activities this week, and there will be more from Stormbreaker tomorrow. Take care.